Gilbert,
Present.
Swanson,
Here.
Parker, Pulis,
Here.
Healy,
Here.
and Mayor Tomes.
Here. Before we start with actually 1A, I want to let people know that 1B has been stricken from the agenda. 1B was being stricken and removed. Thank you. 1A.
Okay. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Randy Kurt, having been elected to the office of Second Ward Alderman in the city of Rock Island, in the county of Rock Island, solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of alderperson to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Oops. Who's that? I don't know, I haven't heard, never. We already did roll call. Did I do roll call on this? Did we do a roll call? Mm-hmm. Supposed to do it after this, but that's, I looked at that, I was like, oops.
Pledge of allegiance. Roll call.
Do it again if you want.
Do you really have to, do you have to do it again since he just got sworn in?
I did roll call. Roll call, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You did roll call.
I know. All right, so I took it a little out of order, and I already did roll call, so we will now have the Pledge of Allegiance. Remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. All right. Like I say, we don't need roll call. We already did that. Thank you. A couple of people signed up to speak, so we have public comment. Ray?
The first time I came down here about the Blackhawk statue, and I'm going to refer to it as a statue to make it simple. I had hoped to help save it from being given away or destroyed. One reason I came here today was to thank you all for taking a pause and trying to do the right thing. And the other reason I came here was a lot's happened since that day. And Blackhawk Bank made the decision not to accept the Blackhawk statue. And the Quad City Native American Coalition, they came to talk to you because they were offended. And I was given the contact information for that organization, and I politely and diplomatically contacted two higher-ranking members of that organization, and I asked them for a meeting, and I wanted to discuss how we could create a win-win situation. And I never got a response. But you know what? You know who did respond when I contacted them? These two gentlemen back here. Martin Cheney and Rudy Vallejo. I remember seeing Rudy on the news when the storm came and it took Black Hawk down. He went down to guard that iconic piece of history until the city could come down and get it and put it up for safekeeping. Rudy and Martin are also Native Americans with an organization of their own. They aren't activists, but I found out they're realists. They agreed to meet with me, and we sat and had the greatest discussion. And I just feel like that's the way things should be. And we agreed on, or we didn't agree on everything, but we agreed enough that we're strongly united now. And we didn't talk skin color. We didn't talk race. We didn't talk ethnicity. We just simply talked as human beings trying to do the right thing. And it was really, really awesome. It really was. And I feel like I made new friends. And they know Black Hawk was never put up there on 11th Street to offend anyone, but to honor one person, one warrior, Black Hawk. And we're united and wanting to continue to honor Black Hawk. And in order to do this, the decision is in your hands. I never have attempted to reach out to a bunch of people and try to fill this chamber to pressure y'all. And I haven't taken a poll and stuff like that. And but I'll tell you, from judging by the messages and texts and calls and media, social media posts and all, it's obvious there's an overwhelming amount of support for keeping Black Hawk and not destroying it or giving it away. The icons also generated interest from First Black Hawk Bank, Krabby's in Coal Valley, American Pickers, and many, many individuals. But it's Rock Island and it belongs here. This is our piece of history. And I have to admit it's a little concerning because I know that there are 3 people that I know that are not born and raised in Rock Island and not originally from Rock Island, and with all due respect, may not appreciate this piece of Rock Island history the way the old timers like me do. I'm not sure that you know how much it means to lifelong residents like myself. And if you don't, that's all right. But I'd sure welcome a call from you or something, and before you cast your vote, and I'd be happy to take you on a walk down memory lane and explain how important it is to the history of 11th Street as well as the Rock Island as a whole. I've expressed my opinion to you in a meeting, prior meeting, where I feel the best option to place it, or where the best place to place it is, so I won't go down that road again. But I hope you know now that you have a Native American organization and a lifelong resident with many others just like me that are on the same page and are united, and that should speak volumes to you and where you need to go with this. Thank you again for taking the pause and trying to do it right, and thank you for your time tonight and allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Rudy?
Okay, thank you very much again, folks, for letting me speak a little bit here on the statue. And again, my name is Rudy Vallejo, and I'm a member of the Kickapoo tribe of Kansas. I grew up here, lived here all my life, and you know, I never ever heard the word offensive growing up and going to school here, and any degrading language about Native Americans or anything like that until maybe a few years ago. I started hearing these things about Indians offensive, and I thought, wow, you know, I still don't understand it, because for some reason I don't really think that way or feel that way with anything. Yes, I do want to keep that statue. I talked to quite a few folks, and this one gal, she's, you know, pretty well known, I think, in Rock Island. She says Rock Island will never, ever give that statue. She says they'll never let it leave Rock Island. Well, I said that they won't. I said they gave it to I said they gave it to Milan. I said, you know, I said they already let it go out of Rock Island, you know, letting it go. And I told her, you know, I says money talks. You know, and we know that. Money talks, and we know the other part of that. Money talks, and you know what walks. And, but you know, like I say, we have a dream. You know, the American Indians in the Quad City area here, we have a dream. And our dream is to save that Indian, to restore it, or to help Rock Island restore it, and put it back. I mean, put it back in Rock Island, anywhere, you know. It belongs in Rock Island, it really does. And, you know, and we're here to help. I mean, if you guys decide to keep it, we're here to help. I mean, we're gonna really do our best to do what we can to keep that statue here in Rock Island. So, again, thank you for letting me speak. And I'll just add this little note to I just got a brand new teepee. It's an 18-foot teepee. And I'll be down in Moline at the Mikado Friday. So come on over and check out my brand new teepee, 18-foot. I'll give you a tour of it. Thank you. Thanks, folks.
Thank you. Okay, that's everybody that signed up. We're now on item number 6.
Minutes from the May 8th, 2023 study session and city council meeting.
Move to approve the minutes as printed.
Second.
Moved to second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
And Pulis.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 7, little fun presentation. Linda, I don't know if you want to come up. Go ahead.
Yeah, award presentation from the Rock Island Preservation Society.
Good evening.
If you want to lower the
I'm a little shorter here. Thank you. My name is Linda Anderson, and I'm here representing Rock Island Preservation Society. Tonight we're going to present our 2023 Preservation Awards, which, just to make life interesting when you try to go back and figure out who got what when, these are for work completed in 2022. So when we first started this project, we should have named it after the previous year. We would have known what we were doing, hopefully. So our first honoree will be for the restoration of the Helen Horst Bench in Longview Park. And I want to take us a little bit about, oh yeah, and I should ask you to come up. I set the awards out there. The long, gently curving bench to the west of the working greenhouse, not too far from the south entrance to Longview Park, has been in place since 1921. It was part of a very special children's wading pool donated by Henry and Molly Horst in memory of their daughter Helen, who drowned in a swimming accident in the Rock River at the age of 6. Henry Horst, a respected contractor, supervised the construction of the wading pool, a sandy play area, and 2 double-sided semicircular benches, each with long shade canopies. Today, a small plaque is, and this one bench are all that remain, and the bench was badly in need of repair. A concrete company was hired to resurface the bench, and neighbors to the south of the park joined together to repaint the bench. Tonight, we would like to applaud the joint effort between Rock Island Parks and Recreation and Longview Park neighbors Leslie O'Ryan, Paul Fessler, and Tom Sparkman, neighbors who love their park. Job well done to all. He's gonna. All right. That's fine. I will eventually. We'll be waiting one maybe.
Ready? 1, 2.
Sure. Did you want to talk?
Just real quick, it was very fun doing the work. It was satisfying. I felt like it made a big impact. It was something that we wanted to do probably in 2021 for the 100th anniversary. Paul Fessler was awesome in organizing it. I wish he was here tonight. He teaches vocational ed at Blackhawk College. He organized to get the master mason there to fill in, to repair the big cracks, and then all Paul, Leslie, and I did is we plastered, gave it 2 coats, and it turned out fantastic, and I was very happy with it. So thank you for the recognition. That's really nice. So, yeah.
And real quick, the department would really like to thank everyone involved in this. Just another team effort with the community. Liz by the Park helped us out, Paul Fessler and his team, Tom, and everyone involved. So thank you very much.
Guess I'm supposed to do this. Whoops, not that way. Oh, not that way either. The right one? Okay, there we go. Our next honoree will be Sacred Heart Roman Catholic Church for the restoration and protection of their stained glass. In the preparation for its 125th anniversary this year, the members of Sacred Heart Parish undertook the restoration and protection of their historic stained glass windows. In the late 1970s, protecting art glass windows was best done by applying plexiglass to the exterior, as considered a state-of-the-art practice at the time. However, today we recognize that this treatment led to rotting wood, corrosion of the lead caming, the sagging and the bowing of the windows. And as restoration committee members joked, it made the windows look like they had bad cataracts. All of Sacred Heart's windows needed attention. Over the course of several years, the congregation worked with Glass Heritage in Davenport on the restoration project, and the windows are beautiful. Before I recognize them, I do want to say I saw a truck working on one of their windows when I was down in that area just the other day. So apparently it's a project that goes on and on and on. But tonight we wish to recognize the congregation of Sacred Heart Catholic Church for undertaking this massive effort. The windows are beautiful. Chris Mandel and Tim Smith are here tonight to accept the Historic Preservation Award.
We just appreciate the recognition so much, and that everybody who passes by busy Fifth Avenue can see the beauty of Sacred Heart shining out again. So thank you so much for the honor.
Our next recognition, if I can do this. Oh, we must have more than one picture. Okay. This one goes to David and Karen Evans for restoration of the home at 2613 13th Avenue. An extensive exterioration was brought to our attention recently by one of our members who just happened to be passing by. Owners Karen and David Evans live in Bettendorf, but when their son moved out of this house, they decided to take it on as a restoration project. They began by removing the aluminum siding, which uncovered original clapboard, but the clapboard had deteriorated to the point that it had to be replaced. Before that took place, the shadow outline of missing decorative window hoods was discovered on the original wood, and replicas were made and were installed. Because Mr. Evans operates Glass Blast, a stained glass creation and restoration business, he decided to add beautiful glass transoms to some of the window openings. Work now continues on the interior of the house and on further restoration. Tonight, we recognize Karen and David Evans for their exterior restoration work at 2613 13th Avenue.
I'm actually the son that they bought it from.
Oh, okay.
They're out of
Well,
town.
welcome.
I'll just say I'm glad the house is being fixed up. I worked on it for 16 years when I owned it, taking the siding off, replacing some of the siding, and then we had kids and the house was no longer big enough for us, so we had to move. So I actually live in Bettendorf, just down from my parents now, but they're going to finish it up and get it back all the way, so.
Thank you. Okay, and our next award goes to the home at 824 20th Street, Rock Island. For decades, this house sat in a dilapidated, and truncated version of the historic Smith-Jackson House. Next-door neighbors David Cordes and Brian Patchell decided to purchase and restore the building. That was the start of a long-term project. In 2008, they invited Broadway neighbors to help them with a great unveiling. That means taking all the siding off for those who may not be into doing unveilings. Then extensive repair and restoration of the original clapboard began. Original porches were restored, and then one of the most dramatic parts of the restoration, the recreation of the tower based on 1888 line drawings. The tower was built, let's see if I can, coming on here. The tower was built on the ground and lifted to its meticulously calculated perch by a crane in 2009. David and Brian have been quoted as saying, "The Smith-Jackson House is one of the older houses in the Broadway district, built when 20th Street ended at 9th Avenue. We think it, once again, can be a focal point for the rebounding 20th Street corridor." With the restoration of the Smith-Jackson House completed, it was then sold to new owners. But tonight we wish to honor David Cordes and Brian Patchell for their beautiful restoration of 824 20th Street and for a tower hoisting video that is pretty unforgettable and is on YouTube, for those who could join. So join me in thanking a round of applause for them.
Buy some guns. Shoot myself with it.
Pictures, and you've said it all, so.
Okay, well, but go look at the video, it's pretty cool.
Thank you very much.
That will end our presentation for tonight. Let me sure I'm done, yep. So thank you. As a housekeeping, for those of us who are going to leave after the presentation, if we could meet downstairs in the lobby, and then we're going to just have a little celebration. But here, join me in a round of applause for all of our year's honorees. Thank you.
I'd also like to recognize some of the commission that's here, the committee. If you want to stand up or whatever, but Diane, no? I know Diane is. Yeah.
But this is Rock Island Preservation Society.
Private preservation, yes.
There's a good few.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Item 8, Rock Island update. Couple items here. Kick off your summer at the swimming pool. Whitewater Junction opens this Saturday, May 27th, for its 20th summer season. Grab your swimsuit and head out Memorial Day weekend with your family or friends to Rock Island's premier swimming pool to ride down the water slides or swim in the 0-depth to 9-foot deep pool. Season passes and punch cards are available. Whitewater Junction has family fun for everyone. Calling all book lovers, the Rock Island Public Library will hold its monthly book sale this Friday, May 26th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the downtown branch, 401 19th Street. Stop by and grab some bargains while building your personal reading stockpile. Community Block Party. Come meet your fellow neighbors at the Community Block Party this Saturday, May 27th at 1 p.m. at 10th Avenue and 14th Street. Bring a lawn chair and enjoy music, food, and fellowship. Contact Alderman Moses Robinson for more information at 309-737-1081. And that's all. We have item number 9.
Finance Department's presentation of the first quarter financial management report.
Right. Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Hopefully I stay awake. I just got off a flight at 3 p.m. and I'm very sleepy.
Little time zone change?
No, not at
Oh,
all.
okay.
Just very,
Asheville.
very busy 3 days.
All
About
right.
it.
Oh, no, Mrs.
Okay, so I am here to present the first quarter financial management report, which will provide a review of revenues, expenditures, and net position for all funds, an analysis of major state and local tax revenues, general fund expenditures by department, and a monthly investment report. So the benchmark for the first quarter is 25%. And just a side note, the 2022 audit is still underway, with final presentation to council scheduled for June 26th. We'll skip ahead a few pages. Okay, right there. Okay, so this is the revenue, expenditures, and net position report. I'm not going to go through every line item. So we're going to first look at the general fund. So the revenue is reported at 13% of budget. This can be attributed to a pending property taxes. First disbursement from the county will be received in June. About 50% of revenue that support the general fund is received from state and local taxes. Expenditures are reported at 17% of the targeted benchmark. The majority of city departments are reflected in the general fund. Okay, we'll skip down to the library. It received about 2% of its budgeted revenue at the first quarter mark. The largest revenue source for the library are property taxes. Again, the first distribution for 2023 is expected in June. Expenditures are on target at 25% for the period. Next, Riverboat Gaming. Revenue is reported at 16%, while expenditures are at 0% of the targeted benchmark. Transfers will be made to the debt service fund in June and December. Then we will look at other governmental funds. The American Rescue Plan Act fund was created to track expenditures related to this disbursement from the federal government. Approximately $16 million is budgeted for 2023. The revenues and expenses are both at 1% of the budget for this 3-month period. Actual expenditures for the quarter totaled $159,000. The Motor Fuel Tax Fund is used to account for revenue from the state gasoline and expenses related to approved motor fuel tax projects. Revenue is reported at 18% of the benchmark for the first quarter. Expenditures are transferred annually to reimburse the general fund and capital improvement fund. Housing and Community Development Fund is used to account for costs related to the operations of the Community Development Block Grant. Revenue is at 2% due to timing of the drawdowns, and expenditures are reported at 15%. And a little further down, we have the Community Economic Development Fund, and this is used to account for contribution and grants which support various special economic development activities. Actual revenue is 18% of the annual budget amount. The majority of revenue represent a transfer from the general fund. In the past, this was gaming funded, and hopefully we can get back to that for 2024. Other revenue sources include state and federal grants. Expenditures are at 12% during this first quarter. And then I just listed out the sources that are currently in that, the contributions that are being funded, and the Community Development Fund. Okay, next we're going to go down to, I think I need to change my slide. Okay, thank you. Okay, here we have the enterprise funds, and these are used to account for operations that are financed and operated in a manner similar to private business enterprises, where the intent is that cost of providing goods or services to the general public are primarily recovered through user charges. So we have the water, wastewater, stormwater, and solid waste funds. So the revenues are at or near the targeted benchmark of 25% for the quarter. Expenses are trending below the benchmark for water and wastewater for this 3-month period. And then we also have Parks and Recreation Fund. The 3-month revenue is at 8% of the budget. $2 million of the budgeted revenue comes from property tax. Expenses are reported at 15% of the budget for this quarter. Then we have Sunset Marina Fund. Revenues and expenses are below the target at 0% and 6% respectively. The main source of revenue for the marina comes from the summer slip rentals, accounting for 57% of total revenues budgeted for CY23. All right, and then we'll look at some internal service funds. These represent goods and services provided by one department to other departments on a cost reimbursement basis. We have the Equipment Maintenance Fund, which includes fleet services and amortization funds. Revenues are at 27% and expenses at 14% for the quarter. We also have the self-insurance and employee health benefit funds, and they're reporting revenues at 26 and 25%, expenses at 43 and 13% respectively. And then further down, we have our fiduciary funds, which include the fire and police pension trust funds. The revenue is generated from the employer contributions through property tax, employee contributions through payroll deductions, and investment income. And then we have a component unit, which is the Martin Luther King Center nonprofit side. They're reporting revenues at 8% of budget due to lagging payments from the state of Illinois, and expenses at 20% of the target benchmark. Okay, so next we'll go to state and local tax revenue analysis. The first one that you see would be the income tax, also known as the Local Government Distributive Fund. It's budgeted at $5 million for CY23, which is slightly above the 5-year average. Revenue for this quarter is slightly above the 25% benchmark. The next one on there is replacement tax, also known as the Personal Property Replacement Tax, or PPRT. So the revenue is reported at 32% of budget through March 31st. Last year, the city received $9.7 million in PPRT. The 5-year average is 4.5 million. So revenue is expected to decline by 28% this calendar year. However, 2023 revenue is expected to continue to be higher than the 5-year average. All right, next page. Okay, so here we have sales tax. The revenue is reported at 24.7% of the budget. The annual projection is expected to be slightly lower than the budget. And then we also have local option sales tax, which is 27.3% of the budget. The annual projection is also expected to be slightly higher than the budget. All right, next page. So the next two charts that we have the use tax revenue for this 3-month period, and it's 31.7% of the benchmark. The annual projection is slightly above the annual budget. And then we have the municipal utility tax. Revenue is 28.5% of the budget. Annual projections are slightly higher than the budget. All right. Here we have telecommunication, also known as excise tax. Revenue is 23.1% of the budget. Annual projections are slightly below the budget. We have the local food and beverage tax revenue, and it's near the target at 24%. And last but not least, on the next page, is that it? Gaming. Okay, so gaming tax. The revenue is slightly above the benchmark at 25.9% for the 3-month budget. And then I did want to note that in February, the city received an additional payment in the amount of $681,911 from the Illinois Gaming Board. This was based on the gaming expansion bill passed in 2019, directing the ILGB to make this payment once one of the new casinos established in the bill began operating. In this case, it was the Hard Rock Casino, Rockford. So this payment was ordered to be paid for 2 years. So another payment will be made in February of 2024. At that time, we don't know what that amount will be, but that was a nice surprise to get almost $700,000. Okay, so we did this. Since this was prior year, we did move it back to 2022, so it is recognized in our 2022 revenue. All right, next page. Okay, so this page just shows the general fund department expenditures, which were at 17% of the revised budget as of March 31st, 2023. And the next couple of pages are various investment reports. So both will show you that the city's cash and investments as of March 31st was $61,907,465. Right, and that is my report. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
So, and you might not have the answers to these, so you can.
I can get it later.
Yes. So, on page 2 of your report, the Garden District property tax rebate, do you know when that started and how many more years we have on that tax rebate? You can just make a note of that unless.
Okay, I will make a note. You said it was on page 2?
2 of your page numbers.
Okay.
And then, on page 3, the hydroelectric plant, the debt balance, it says, is $570,000. So how many years remaining do we have on that debt?
Okay, I can get that to you also.
Yeah. Thank you, appreciate it.
Any other questions? Comments? Oh, thank you very much, Linda. Appreciate it. Okay, item number 10, consent agenda.
Consent agenda items A through G. Move to approve consent agenda items A through G.
Second.
Moved to second. Any discussion?
I just got a question about the agenda, not really, and I don't know if I can do this here. Where do we see the motions and stuff on the link? You know how they used to be on our citywide, used to be on the links? Do we have to click into it to see them? The motions for each item like we used to have?
Tim, can you pull up, did you hear his question?
The motions, yeah.
How can we see the motions on this public link? I'm not sure if you can, I'd have to.
Can't, unless you go in the individual ones.
You have to go into the,
So you have to go to the really long one to see what the motions.
unless you click on the one that has the individual one, and then you can see the,
There's probably a way to do it. I can ask tech support
I'm sorry
on
for
that.
getting off topic. But
No, these are great questions that we need to know
Gotta go
with
back
this new
and forth.
software, so,
That's why I have the printed
Appreciate it.
one, because I didn't see it on this one, so, okay.
okay.
yeah, I'm having to juggle between the 200 pages of the packet and then the agenda items with my questions. It's, yeah, crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have a question on, I switched out of the agenda, the one that's Johnson Controls, which one is that? E?
Yep.
E. So I have a question. So, so they started the measurement and verification services in September 1, so we have 4 months from 2022. How often do we get a report from Johnson Controls on that?
It is, I believe it's an annual report for each year. So there's 3 years of measurement and verification completed.
Not collecting the data monthly and maybe we get a quarterly report? No?
No, that's not the way it's structured in the contract.
Okay, so sometime this September, would we be seeing then?
It's within 60 days of each anniversary of the commencement of the term, they'll provide the customer with an annual report containing an executive overview of the project's performance and project benefits achieved to date and a summary analysis of the measured project benefits.
And were we gonna have them come do a presentation and an
Yes.
update? Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
no,
you,
that
but-
was, yes, thank you for, no.
Yeah, I'm actually meeting with them on the 25th of this week to discuss the moving forward with the measurement and verification, and then bringing a presentation back to council with an update on the overall project.
Okay, thank you so much, Mike.
All right, if there's no further discussion, roll call, please.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
And Pulis.
Aye. Item number 11.
Claims A through D, and I can read them if council so wishes.
Motion to allow claims A through D.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
I would like to say, the C part of this, Five Cities Construction, it's been around my neighborhood, they have been fantastic. They really truly have, and everyone around our area has been just amazed by them, and it's made the project go very smooth. So, thank you to them.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
And Pulis.
Aye.
Item 12A.
Report from the Public Works Department recommending city staff negotiate a contract with Ferguson Waterworks of DeKalb, Illinois for automated water meter reading, automated water infrastructure, and residential water meters RFQ.
Move to authorize city staff to negotiate a contract with Ferguson Waterworks.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
I have questions. So, can you just give us a brief background of this project and how we're moving forward, what the timeline is? Because I think it's like, what, a 5-year project or something?
Yeah, that's mostly related to funding available.
Right.
We originally were hoping for more ARPA funds, as with all of our projects, but, so we received $1.5 million of ARPA funds. The reason it's a 5-year project is we don't have enough funding to complete it in one big project, which is okay. It doesn't have to be completed in one project or 1 year. So we're looking at doing a 5-year project, replacing however many meters we can within each year. As the memo states, we have roughly 14,000 meters. They don't all need replaced. We've been replacing some in previous years. But again, we're looking to probably, over the 5 years, do 1,500 to 2,000 meters a year. As the funding allows, the $1.5 million will be the first of the ARPA funds, will be the first project, and then we'll budget funds within the water fund for each year after that.
Okay, so when you get your meter replaced, is that, then your bill becomes a monthly bill, or are you gonna wait until all the meters are replaced, or
No,
what?
it wouldn't, we could have the option to go, well, and Jay's can come up here too, but we wouldn't be able to go to a monthly billing right away. We would look at going after the 5-year project's complete.
Okay.
That'd be the cleanest way to do it. We may have the technology in place to do it that way, but it really should happen all at one time.
Okay. I know that's what I'm waiting for, because I think going to monthly billing would be a tremendous help to a lot of our residents.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that too is tied into the software conversation that we're all discussing with the ARPA funding as well, and the financial software. That'll be a big part of going to the monthly billing as well, and that also ties into the meter
Big software
replacement.
project?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
that's probably at least 2 years out, in our 5-year project, so, yeah. We got several years before we would be into that monthly billing opportunity.
Okay, great. Thank you.
There's no further discussion. We'll take a vote. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Pulis.
Aye.
Item 12B.
Report from General Administration regarding a 3-month contract extension with David Morrison for legal services.
Motion to approve the contract extension is recommended.
Second. Clarify, it's actually for 4 months.
Oh, okay.
Is
Do we
there any
have to amend
discussion?
it then?
Pardon?
You said it's for 4 months? Do we have to amend it?
No, the agreement actually says 4 months,
Oh.
but the agenda says 3 months.
Sure.
Roll call, please.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Pulis.
Aye.
You're stuck with us, Dave.
Don't forget about Hector. He's sitting out there somewhere. There he is.
Item 12C.
Report from the General Administration regarding an agreement with Streamline Architects for architectural services and the conceptual design phase for City Hall not to exceed $9,680.
Move.
To approve the agreement as recommended and authorize the city manager to execute the documents.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Pulis.
Aye.
Item 12D.
Report from the Parks and Recreation Department regarding bids for Sunset Park Campground Feasibility Study, RFP, recommending the bid be awarded to Campground Consulting Group of Meredith, New Hampshire, in the amount of $31,800 plus travel expenses.
Motion to award the contract and authorize the city manager to execute the documents.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
So the amount is actually $31,800 plus a 4% administrative fee. So it's gonna end up being more than $31,800. So I don't know if we need to,
Because it says here, yeah, plus travel also. But
no, plus travel, but we left out the administrative fee.
John can,
Yeah, Alderwoman Gilbert's correct. They do have a 4% charge for their administrative fees on top of that. City manager and I exchanged some emails today and included that. I don't see it up there, but it needs to be travel expenses plus 4% admin fees.
Yeah.
Do we have any idea what the end cost is?
Travel expense, you could try and put that together. They're gonna have at least 2 people with boots on the ground here. You could be looking at 2 plane tickets, a couple of nights in a hotel and food. It could be a few extra $1,000. The 4% comes out to about $2,100 if you do the math.
Right, right.
So more like 4,100, or, I'm sorry, 3,500 bucks?
35,000 plus or minus, yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows until it's over. So do we know how we're paying for this, where the money's coming from to pay for
The
this?
request after talking with the city manager was through ARPA funds.
Which ARPA funds?
It'll be the reserve or the marina contingency, or the marina project.
You mean the $1 million?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
We had talked about that being in the $1 million anyway, had we not?
We did, we discussed it.
We said no.
I don't know if there was,
Yeah, because I specifically asked that a couple of meetings ago. Okay, thank you so much.
You bet. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Pulis.
Aye.
Item number 12E.
Report from the mayor's office regarding a resolution approving an amended employment agreement with city manager Todd Thompson.
Move to adopt the resolution and authorize the mayor to execute the agreement.
Second.
Moved to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Pulis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 13A.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding the sale of city-owned property located at 906 7th Avenue to Christopher Rice for $642.50 plus closing costs. First reading.
Motion to approve the sale is recommended. Authorize the city manager to execute the sales agreements and consider, suspend, and the rules and pass the ordinance.
Suspend.
Y'all know what I'm saying.
I do. And okay.
For our cheat cards.
Is there a second?
I did.
Okay, I'm sorry. Any discussion?
Got another one next, Moses, if you want it.
No, that's not me.
Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Pulis.
Aye.
13B.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding the sale of city-owned property located at 3916 6th Street to the Phoenix Housing Group LLC of 618 Boston Drive of Davenport, Iowa for $1 plus closing costs. First reading.
Come on, Judith, you got it.
All right.
Come on, Judy.
Move to approve the sale as recommended, authorize the city manager to execute the sales agreement, and suspend the rules, consider and pass the ordinance.
Same thing. Second.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson. Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Pulis.
13C.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding the consolidation of the 6 boards of appeals into a single inspections commission. First reading.
Want to do the same
Move to
thing?
approve the consolidation and consider the ordinance. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Have you reached out to a lot of people that are on these boards, Miles?
So, in theory, they all have members, or mostly, as the mayor and I have discussed. The truth is, quite literally, some of them have been appointed on these for years and they've never once met. So, have we reached out to all of them to tell them this? No, but many of them may not even recall that they're on it. to be very blunt about it. That's what we're trying to address here, is that these bodies almost never meet and serve no useful purpose in a sense, right? The idea here is not only to get them to meet a little bit more often, but to expand their role beyond just being appeals boards, which is a very rare occurrence that a code interpretation is appealed. I think we checked, the last meeting took place, I think, 3 years ago for one of the boards of appeals. Others, it's been, again, more than a decade. What we're looking for is to get a meaningful panel of citizen experts and business experts to actually advise us on things. Similar to the recent creation of that Community Development Commission, we actually want them to give us some more input on things. As an example, and I was hoping someone would ask questions so I could highlight this. If down the road we choose to change the way we do our rental inspection program, right? We would like a body we could workshop it with, right? Talk to them a little bit about how that might work. Let's say we return to do an analysis of how the foreclosed, vacant, abandoned registry program is working, where it's falling short, where it's succeeding. We'd like a body that we could talk to about that and kind of workshop it. So as the ordinance reads, upon adoption of this, we will invite all members of the respective bodies to seek appointment to this new body. If this new vision sounds like something they'd like to be a part of, we would ask them to apply, and would welcome them to continue their service, perhaps in a more active fashion.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert. Aye. Swanson.
Aye.
And Pulis.
Aye. Item 14A.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding a resolution adopting the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA-funded economic development programs.
Move to authorize the use of unrestricted ARPA funding towards the proposed programs, approve the proposed business assistance programs, authorize the city manager to execute qualified development agreements, and adopt the resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussions? I must comment, this is a great tool. This is going to be a great tool for the Economic Development Department to use the next years, several years here, so.
I had somebody come in today asking when it would be available to apply.
No discussion? Oh, wait a minute, Miles would like the microphone again.
Approve it,
So-
when does it, yeah.
That was.
Yeah, so I was just asking Tara here. We currently have a wait list of approximately 54 businesses who have all said, you know, we've got perfectly nice kind of facade-esque projects that we'd like to move forward with. And so we want to kind of make this money start to fund those projects. Upon approval of this, our goal is to get everything up and running as quickly as possible, June 1 being that rough start date. And again, the goal here, right, is to not make perfect the enemy of the good. We're hoping to continue to kind of workshop our overall suite of economic development programs. As the council's aware, we're having some discussions of added capacity, and we are looking forward to continue to kind of perfect and improve these as we go forward. Tara, is there anything you'd like to add?
So the wait list that Miles referenced, the folks on that list received an email last week just letting them know that we had moved the policies and procedures forward to City Council for a vote. Depending on the outcome tonight, I will send a second email tomorrow reiterating some of the points and encouraging them, if they have not already done so, to begin to gather the information relevant to their projects, such as bids and, impacts on their business, so that we can help them through the process of filling out the application. I'm working with Stacy and Liz right now to find appropriate locations and dates that we can offer amongst the three of us to do some workshops after we launch the application to help folks make sure they're filling out the application appropriately and that they understand the type of information we want from them. Yes, and to share that new digital platform, help them create their profiles if needed. And of course, if we have folks that are not digitally savvy or do not have access to the digital, we have some paper forms and some paper brochures ready to go as well. We're just waiting for the pleasure of the council on the item.
I would
So,
also challenge you to get it out pending the vote, but to businesses that might not have known about any of this as well, you know,
Yes.
to come forward, you know,
Yes.
hopefully turn that 54 into 100. you
yep,
know, or
we
something
intend to
like
work
that.
with our community engagement manager
Thank you.
to find the most effective way to get that message out.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, if we had a business registry, that'd be really nice.
Yeah. One of these days.
How
Point
many more
taken.
days? We gotta wait.
Roll call, please.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert. Swanson. And Pulis.
Aye. Item 14B.
A resolution approving an amended, or I'm sorry, excuse me. Report, let's see, where are we? 14B. A resolution approving the amended, it is, okay. I'm sorry, guys, I got lost in my new agenda. A resolution approving an amended employment agreement with the city manager and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract documents.
Move to adopt the resolution and authorize the mayor to execute the contract documents.
Second.
Moved to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Pulis.
Aye.
Todd, I guess you're still employed.
Thank you.
Good. Congratulations.
Congratulations on surviving your first year.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks for staying.
And maybe we're the ones. Item 15. Yep, A?
Bruce C.
A through C.
A through C, thank you.
A, report from the Finance Department regarding a budget adjustment, increasing the Community and Economic Development Fund revenue and expenditure budgets for CY 2023 by $300,000. B, report from the Finance Department regarding a budget adjustment, line of credit drawdown, increasing the Parks and Recreation Fund 555 revenue and expenditure budgets for CY 2023 by $300,000 for the Highland Springs Clubhouse project. And C, report from the Finance Department regarding a budget adjustment, increasing the Sunset Marina Fund 541 revenue and expense, and decreasing the General Fund 101 expense budget for CY 2023 by $249,800 for engineering services.
Motion to approve budget adjustment items A through C.
Second.
Moved to second. Any discussions? Roll, oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Too quick.
I was just gonna ask Todd, so, in the first June meeting, June 12th, we'll see that agenda item for Sunset Marina engineering contract.
Yeah, that's correct. Item C is just the adjustment, and then we'll bring the actual agreement back at the next meeting.
Roll call, please.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Pulis.
All right.
Item 16.
Report from the Information Technology Department regarding a request to approve $320,000 in budgeted American Rescue Plan Act funds for broadband fiber optic infrastructure expansion, $150,000, a video recording system, $45,000, and a city camera network system, $125,000.
Move to approve the expenditure of ARPA funds in the amount of $320,000.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Pulis.
Aye.
Item 17A.
Report from the Traffic and Engineering Committee regarding a request from Mary Haynes to install a handicap parking space in front of her home at 3410 9th Street, first reading.
Motion to approve the request and consider the ordinance.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Aye. And Pulis.
Aye.
Item 17B.
Report from the Traffic and Engineering Committee regarding a request to remove the handicap parking space in front of 2923 13th Avenue, first reading.
Motion to approve the request and consider the ordinance.
Second.
Yeah. Moved and seconded.
Did the
Any
first one, I
discussion?
would have done this one.
This is a removal.
Just roll call.
Who was the second there?
Yeah,
Yes.
Pulis did.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't hear that. I'm so sorry. Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
And Pulis.
Aye.
Item 18A.
Report from the City Clerk's Office regarding a request from Alderperson Moses Robinson to close 10th Avenue between 14th and 14.5 Street on Saturday, May 27th, from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. for a block party.
Motion to approve the request as recommended.
I didn't know if I should do my own.
Second?
Yeah. Sure. Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Abstain?
Announced.
Yeah, yeah.
State Rock
I wasn't
Island.
gonna say
Yes.
anything.
Yes. We want to make it a retraction, no?
Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
And Pulis.
Aye.
Item 19, other business.
Well, I would just like to make an announcement that next month, on Monday, June 19th, there will be a third ward meeting here in City Council chambers starting at 6 p.m. More info to come. Or you could check out my blog, JudithGilbert3rdward.com. It's got the info. Now I gotta add the Augustana project.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Mark,
May I?
you may.
I just wanted to thank the inspections department. We've had some issues with some landlords in the Sixth Ward, and they have been very proactive in getting those, solving some of the problems that we've had and moving forward with it. So, and the follow-up has been tremendous. Kudos to the inspections department. Thank you.
Just want to echo up from what the mayor mentioned in Update Rock Island. This Saturday, we'll be doing a block party for the residents of 14th and 14th and a half Street. Actually, we extend further than that, but concentrating in that area, working with Community Caring Conference and Omega Psi Phi Fraternity.
Wonderful. I'm going to repeat what we've talked about several times at the city council here, but Public Works is still continuing to pick up trees and stuff from the storm a while back ago, but they're making headway and working, shouldn't be too much longer, but they are still out there working at it and continue to have patience. If you still feel that you've been overlooked, please call Public Works.
To that point,
Yes.
Mayor, is that just for debris that was on city property, or is that debris that was on private property as well?
It's on private property also. It should be out by the street in the public easement, the right-of-way is where it should
And
be.
that was my point, because there were some houses on 38th Street where there's a large amount of debris, but it's right up next to the house. And so perhaps, we can contact them, say, hey, if you want that taken care of, you need to move it out to the street.
Yeah, we're not, whether the question is they thinking we're gonna pick it up there or not, I don't know, but we'd have to know addresses. You don't know where you contact them, I'm
I'll
sure.
contact the alderman of that ward. and-
There you go. Why don't you do that? But no, it needs to be out in the public right-of-way, in the easements part, right next to the curb. They're picking up the large stuff. They may end up leaving some small twigs, branches, mulch type deal. They're not picking up that sort of thing. It's the big trees and limbs and that sort of thing.
One more announcement to make.
Yes, sir.
Since this is a holiday weekend, would just like to announce that the season has begun. Bring your family down to the Ben Williamson Park for free water ski shows on Sunday and Monday.
Backwater gamblers, they're
Backwater
called.
Gamblers.
Yes.
At 6:30 p.m.
Nice plug.
And it'd be cold water.
It has been.
Yes, nope, great show. I also want to commend Fire Chief Bob Graft and a great memorial service this last Sunday for the firemen that have passed away over the years, in honoring them. It was a wonderful program, so thank you for putting that on and honoring those individuals. Anything else? Yes.
Could you just repeat the shows you said this weekend, what days they were?
Sunday and Monday. And there's bleacher seating, there's.
What time?
6:30 PM. There are concessions down there. I'm not going to tell everybody what I'm making for them, but
Anything else?
Great show.
Nothing else? We need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn to June 12th, 2023.
Moved and seconded. I assume there's no discussion on that. Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Kurtz. Aye. Gilbert. Aye. Swanson. Aye. And Pulis.
aye.
Meeting is